I'm just gonna tell you now, I'm not even gonna compete. I am not even gonna compete because that is you won this week, man.
Yeah, that's one of the games they're showing off here. It's a
Oh man.
huge display. I'm going to walk over
No.
here behind the wall so people won't be photo bombing.
Welcome everybody to Zia Comic Weekly, where we get ready to nerd out for the next half hour. And no, you are not mistaken. He is on the road, everybody. He who does not sleep has not slept since January, and he is still going.
It seems like it.
What's going on, Troy? Okay, Troy is from live on location. Where are you at?
The Peppermill Resort and Casino in Reno. Let me just turn. You can see behind me the overview of the casino floor. It's early, so there's not a whole lot of people gambling.
Yeah, so you guys are an hour behind, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's still too early to get your betting on and you start gambling.
Oh, no, there's still a few people down there. It's not stopping the diehards.
Right? No, they're about their business, man. So
yeah.
So you're
By the way, I don't want people. I'm not here gambling. I'm here for a retail gaming convention.
so we talked about this. So it's around this time last year, you were at a gaming convention. Break this down for people. What exactly you got going on? Because some pretty cool stuff comes out of when you go to these gaming conventions.
Yeah, it's called GAMA's Game Manufacturers Association. They get everybody together: the distributors, the manufacturers, the retailers, and they show you all the new games coming out, tabletop games, card games, TCG stuff. You get to see it firsthand. They have game nights, which I posted a video on TikTok last night. There was probably 300 or 400 people in there playing games. You couldn't hear anything. They're all showing off the new games, and they have seminars. There's one going on right now, but I'm skipping it. They have multiples going on at a time. All these new distributor or manufacturers are talking about their new games, telling you what they got coming out for the year, so you can be prepared. It's really kind of cool. If you're into tabletop gaming, it's really very cool.
Which is so cool because I mean, you guys have a lot of board games out at Zia Comics, so this is kind of cool to be able to kind of get a look at what's out there and something new and maybe something fresh that's gonna eventually be out there that people get ready for.
Yeah, we're trying to find out what the new hotness is going to be.
Man, it's crazy because you'd be surprised. I mean, it starts off as something like, oh, no one's gonna care about that, to next be the biggest game ever.
Yeah. Yeah, and then other ones they hype up and everybody thinks it'll be great, and you come here and try and you're like, oh, this game's not that good.
Oh man, but of course you're in Reno, Nevada. He hasn't taken a nap. Okay, he's running around. We got to break down this weekend, man, because you had a lot going on. El Paso Comic Con is in the books. Break it down for us. How did it go, man?
Were you able to make it?
Didn't get a chance to go out there. I was trying to make it out there. I sent my informant out there, which he said he had a blast. He was able to get a photo with Michael Roker, which I was like, man,
good.
that's the photo you need, man. So I told him last year too. I was like, hey man, Esposito's the one you need to go to. And now he went and saw Michael this time around. So, but overall, man, how did everything go? I mean, busy 3 days, it looks like.
Yeah, it really was. Excuse me. Yeah, everything. Well, we sold. We sold more tickets than last year. Again, every year it gets bigger and better. So this year we followed that trend. So there were more people there. The Low Century Impact opening on Sunday was a little chilly on Sunday morning, so it wasn't as big in numbers as we thought it was going to be with those guys. But they still had around 400 people show up for that early opening. But yeah, it was just great. I mean, we had 3 cancellations, but the guys who did show up were still pretty big names, and I haven't had really any complaints. Everybody seemed to have a good time, including the guests. They loved El Paso, so overall, yeah, it just went really well. Everything just kind of fell in place.
One of the things I kept hearing, and just with the coverage, because by the way, Troy, everywhere you were like on every news outlet, it seemed. And at first, I'm like, okay,
Good.
Troy's on the news. What's going on? Like, is he in trouble? We got to start doing a GoFundMe
That's
for
a
some
safe
bail.
assumption most times.
I know, it's like, oh man, we got to go get Troy. We're about to start a telethon to get Troy out of jail. But one of the things I kept hearing people say was it's getting bigger and bigger every year. So
Yeah.
from people that have gone in the last couple of years to hear that it's like this thing is just getting bigger every year and bigger and better every year.
Well, that's funny because one of the artists we brought in, Jay Photos, he was at one of the first or second one we did, and then he came to this one, and he walked, on Saturday night. I saw him over at the hotel, and he was like, "Dude, this has grown so big since last time I was here." I was like, "I see it every year, so I don't really notice it, but
Mhm.
he had like a 5 year gap, and he saw a huge difference." So, um, yeah, it's getting bigger every year, and we're going to try to keep that trend going until
Yeah.
everybody in El Paso comes to it.
And that's something hopeful for us here in Las Cruces. So whenever we get to the Las Cruces Comic Con, I mean, you saw the response when, it came back last year. So if we can keep up that trend like El Paso, I mean, man, this is going to be, like we've said in the past, it becomes a stop for, these famous guys tell their other famous friends and say, hey, man, you need to put them on the map as places you
Yeah.
need to go.
Yeah, they do talk. These guys who make the con circuit, they see each other all the time at these cons, and they talk. And I in the beginning, like I said, it was really tough getting people to come to Cruces and El Paso for the cons. But now I have them calling me saying, "Hey, man, do you have a spot? Can you put me in one of these spots?" So
Yeah.
it's making it easier that the community is supporting it. And all you guys out there that came, thank you, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah, and we're hoping that Troy will eventually get some rest sometime. I mean, he was gonna take a nap right now, but we're like, "Hey, man, we're gonna jump on real quick." He's like, "Okay, cool. I'll just have another cup of coffee and a Red Bull and be good to go."
Well, it's funny because when it closes at 5 on Sunday, you guys get to leave.
Yeah.
I have to stay there until loadout is finished. Um, and I think we left the convention center around 10 p.m. I had a truckload of stuff I had to bring home from the swag and everything. In fact, there was 2 trips that had to be made. I finished unloading the last one in the garage at like 12:30 at night. I sat down on the couch for about an hour and checked my emails. I was like, "Oh man, I got to pack for Reno."
So how many days are you in Reno?
Until Thursday. I fly back Friday morning.
Okay. So, yeah. Troy is a man, and then he doesn't get a break, guys, because now you got an anime convention that we got coming up.
Yep,
And then you start planning for cruises, and then on top of that, Alamogordo. So there's no stopping this guy.
that's a true statement. Yeah, yeah. I've been trying to block that from my mind. So thanks.
So I had to be your reminder that, oh, by the way, this is what you got coming up. But no, hey, how's Alamogordo going? I know last week you were running to take care of some stuff before Comic Con. So how's Alamogordo looking?
It's pretty much ready. I did the business license. It should have arrived in my mail during this past week. I haven't been able to check the post office, but we should have the business license. They approved it. Um, I got all the software set up. Now all we have to do is when I get back is start transferring some of the inventory from the main street store in Cruces over to Alamogordo, and then I'm going to have to hire one of our managers from Cruces is going to move to Alamogordo to run that
Wow.
store. So I need to hire maybe 2 more people for Alamogordo to help him out.
Nice, nice. So yeah, no stopping for you, man.
Doesn't seem like it. I actually crashed hard last night. I came down to game night. I was there for about half an hour, and I'm like, I can't do this. I crashed hard. I just woke up about 5 minutes before before I logged in here.
Oh man. So okay, gaming convention right now. What has really stood out to you so far? What is something that you've just been like, man, that's something that we definitely need to get our hands on.
Well, today, Monday is a lot of registration. I got here around 10:30 yesterday morning.
Mhm.
I got here just in time to go to the Power Retailer Award luncheon, which we won an award. I
Oh,
posted that. I was very thankful for our everybody who helps our free game night. That's what we basically won it for, was innovation in gaming. Between the YouTube channel with the how to plays and our free game night on Saturdays, we won the Innovation in Gaming Award. So thank everybody who helps us with all of our gaming. Then after that, there really wasn't any seminars yesterday, but then they had the game night. And pretty much every night they have a 4 or 5 hour game night where the manufacturers will put out their new games and show you how to play them so you can get acquainted with them. And today's the first full day of seminars, and then the exhibit hall is going to open. They have a huge exhibit hall with all the manufacturers. You can go around and check out all the new games, pre-order them, get everything set up so they'll be in your store on release day.
nice, nice. And of course,
So
they need to check in with they got to check in with you on the socials, right? Because they'll be kind of highlighting all of the stuff that's going on, right?
I'm going to try to. Some of them, they're starting to get really super secret with
Um,
some of this information because they know people will come in and it's not once they say it once, it's not a secret because there's 12,000 phones, videoing it. And you're like, oh, look what I found.
So, okay. So, yeah, no, I was like wondering, I was like, how many people? I mean, although it's kind of sad because when you look at concerts now, how many people are actually staring at a concert and rather you just see phones? I mean, just looking at some of the footage from Coachella this weekend, I'm like, okay, man, like everyone's trying to record the same thing. Like, y'all gotta check it out first. Don't be just trying to go to your phones right away.
Yeah, I mean, and how much fun is it to watch the concert through your phone while you're there?
Let's
I
be honest.
just,
Does anybody ever go back and watch that stuff?
no, I think it's a one-time watch. Everybody checks it out, and that's it.
Yeah, no, and then you forget next thing you know, when it comes time to free up some space on your phone, you're like, I guess I'll get rid of that video of me watching, Eddie Murphy pull into a Starbucks. Like, yeah, no, we don't need all that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Troy, let's nerd out because there's a couple of things that are going to be going on over the next couple of days. Obviously, the big one is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm starting to notice a big push for that, man. And I don't know, man. I'm getting sadder and sadder because these trailers that they're releasing, it's like, oh, it breaks my heart because someone is going to die in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of Guardians of the Galaxies, they set you up with all the comedy, so you're expecting, a little bit of action, a little bit of comedy, a lot of fun, and now they're going, oh hey, yeah, those guys you really like, one of them's going to die.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to wait to the movie. The runtime for this, they released the runtime 2 hours and 30 minutes. So that's on par with the typical Marvel movie.
Yeah, that's not too bad. You start hitting the 3 hour mark. That's when
Yeah.
that's when I start having to go to the bathroom. I'm getting too old, man. I can't hold it.
Man, that's when Disney Plus is coming through clutch these days. So we're like, okay, can you hurry up, just get these movies on so that way we can watch them and not have to go to the theaters?
Yeah, and the theaters don't change something of how they're doing their business. You're not going to have theaters, in
Yeah.
about 5 or 6 years. There's just going to be no reason for it
You know
unless
what's
they can
crazy?
strong arm them into coming to theaters first.
But you think about it too, especially for, when we went through the pandemic and everything was closing, you would have thought this would have been the opportunity for theaters to think, what can we change up? Or that should have been their chance to say, how do we entice people to come back to the theaters? I mean, yes, you got reserved seating, but what else can they do to make that experience even better?
The theaters are very hesitant to change, man. Instead of changing their plans or seeing what they could do different, they just threaten the film industry. Say, oh, if you
Yeah.
don't come to us first, that's the wrong way to do it because it showed people want to do the streaming. It should show advertisers. There's tons of people watching it when it streams. So why would they advertise in a theater if they can advertise on that streaming platform?
And let's be honest, like I mean, I said his name earlier, but Eddie Murphy, you know, Eddie Murphy has done a couple of movies now for Netflix. The next Beverly Hills Cop movie is coming out and it's going to Netflix.
Yep.
So when you got big names like that saying, "Hey, I'm gonna make more money at Netflix than I am at theatrical release," they're gonna obviously go where the money is, but also it is now more obtainable to go watch these movies because I want to see Beverly Hills Cop as someone that watched them growing up in the 80s and 90s. That I'm like, oh, I don't have to go to the movie theater. I can watch it at home.
Yeah. Well, streaming is so much easier because if you're sitting there at 3 a.m. and can't sleep, you can just jump on Netflix and watch something. The
I love
theater's
how
not going to be open.
Troy is talking like he's coming from experience. He's like, sometimes you can't fall asleep. You're gonna binge watch a marathon of Bad Batch or something.
Yeah, that's kind of how I watch them typically.
I mean, that's really how it always breaks down, man. But like, when you got your big movie stars starting to make that, move to, I mean, Chris Evans has something, Chris Pratt has something that's on a streaming service, Chris Hemsworth, like all the Chris's at this point are on a streaming service
Yeah,
of some sort.
Adam Sandler pretty much owns half of Netflix, I think.
And everybody laughs at Adam Sandler because they go, he doesn't make good movies. Yeah, but he makes good checks.
Yeah, I mean, the bank doesn't look at that. They see those numbers. So
Man, it's just crazy. And I think eventually there will be a change when it comes to even the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They did very well by giving us those TV shows, but I think they need to give us the movies faster on those streaming services to keep up momentum within, especially this phase, because this phase hasn't exactly, I don't know, it's been okay, but just hasn't really been up to expectation that we're used to.
Yeah, like I said, if the theaters don't change, I give them 5 years and they're going to
Yeah.
die. You need to make it more entertaining. You need to make people want to come to the theater rather than sit on their couch.
Yeah. So, well, see what they decide to change in the near future. But I'm with you, man. 5 years. I mean, I was an avid. I mean, if you had told me this back in 2019, I mean, I love going to the theaters. Every Friday I was there. But as time has
Yeah.
gone, I'm like, you know what, man? I just can wait and stream this at home.
Yeah, well, the internet speeds have picked up. The quality of the video, resolution stuff, that's all picked up. So you can stream it in your house and it looks pretty good. You don't have to worry.
And you can, like you said, go to the bathroom whenever you need to. There's that pause feature.
Exactly. I don't
Some
know.
drama within the MCU, which I think we kind of figured this was going to happen. Scarlett Johansson recently did an interview and said that she will not be returning to Marvel. She doesn't see herself coming back to Marvel, but can you blame her? Like, I don't blame her coming back.
Well, they kind of dorked her over with Black Widow during the pandemic, and then you got these toxic. Uh, I'm going to the journalist asking her all kinds of sexist questions and stuff. You didn't ask those guys what their diets were and their workout regimen
Right.
were, or what kind of
Although,
underwear they wore, not to show panty lines. Come on, man, be
although
better.
I would like to know about the dad bod diet. I mean, that's one that I would be very interested in.
The fat Thor diet.
So
I'm
how
on
many
that one. I've got that one down pat.
Right. So how many pizzas did you eat to get to that bod? I mean, we really want to know. And as far as, undergarments, did you wear any? Do you even need to? Like, see, that's the people we need to be asking those questions, not Scarlett Johansson because of
Yeah,
what her uniform looks like.
yeah. It's just that toxic male mentality. They don't realize the stuff they're asking is not appropriate.
Yeah. I know. There's a fine line, especially when you're interviewing someone or any interaction with someone. That's why we tell you guys when you meet a celebrity, just take a deep breath. It'll be fine. You don't have to attack them. And if you're interviewing them, you don't have to lose your mind and freak out and ask them inappropriate questions.
Yeah, yeah, true.
It's just I don't know. I honestly, when she was going through that whole lawsuit, I was like, yeah, her character's basically done. I think she's had enough of having to deal with all this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wasn't even part of it, and I felt bad for her. I thought that she got the raw end of the deal when they her contract didn't say anything about revenue from streaming. So what they do, and this is when streaming was still relatively kind of new, and she hit huge numbers on streaming, but saw none of the money for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, and with the delays that it experienced
Hmm.
because it was the 2020, man, people didn't know what was gonna happen, and it's like, okay, but Disney was only looking after themselves, and to be honest, Troy, I really think if they woulda got away with it, I think they were about to do that to Shang-Chi. I think they were gonna get ready to do that to, there's some other movies that started coming out around that same time. I think they were gonna try to pull that same stunt and just say, "Oh, we're gonna put them on the streaming service, and we get to collect the money, and the artists don't."
Disney has very good lawyers.
Oh, yes, they
Just ask
do.
Ron DeSantis.
I was gonna mention that, man. I was like, yeah, like, you don't cross those lawyers. They definitely know the fine line, and I mean, yes, I mean, was there any more about not Scarlett Johansson's character? I think we were kind of already wrapping up her character, that I really didn't see her come back unless it was within the timeline, but I think we were kind of near the end of her character anyways.
Well, they brought her back in the What If series,
Yeah.
an alternate universe one, but that's animated, and you can just about have anybody copy her voice if you wanted to.
Yeah. Good old AI now is showing us that you can do that.
Yeah, pretty soon we won't even need actors. You just type in what you want it to look, and AI will just make you one.
Hey, man, what do you think about that? Because I was watching this video where they're saying AI is making it easy to be able to these movies that they have to, you know, dub for TV. Obviously, if they're dropping any F words or any inappropriate language, that they can use AI now to kind of go in and manipulate to where it looks like it's solid and it's clean and they get a clean cut, not have to worry about that. What are your thoughts about that kind of AI taking over Hollywood?
It's they actually made a movie about that a while back. It was kind of an independent movie, but the corporations would come in and they would pay you for your digital likeness, like big sums of money, and then they would because your AI does not get tired. They were just pumping out tons of movies with this person's AI, and then they figured out, oh, I undersold myself, and now my real self is worthless.
They're like, oh man, nobody wants to see the real me.
Yeah, because the digital one doesn't age. They can make, like you said, manipulate it however they want. So it was an interesting movie, but I think we're a far away from that. But um, I don't know. It is starting to lean that way.
Yeah, it's scary too because you have AI now even getting into places like, you know, formulating comic books. Like
Yeah.
AI can start putting together a storyline, and heck, from that storyline to them putting together the artwork. I mean, what does that do for, the comic book fan? Like, are you going to still be cool with it knowing that this was put together by AI? And what about your favorite, your favorite author, anybody that's involved within the comic book world?
Yeah, it's going to make it tougher. You're going to have more creative ideas because AI doesn't really think on itself. It kind of scours its database for existing stuff and tries to mesh it all together like you want.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to push artists, authors, all those guys to think more outside the box to stand out. Otherwise, AI is going to be able to do what you do.
Yeah, I know it scares me. We saw a couple months ago a headline where they're saying that AI apparently is looking to take over radio. And I said,
Wait a
no,
minute.
you are not. And they were like, well, technically, they could just copy you and Jackie's voice and call it good. I'm like, really? I was like, then that means I could take a day off.
Yeah, maybe then you can go do remotes while somebody, the AI's in studio.
It's like, I'm going to have AI kick it out to me live on the scene.
Kick it out to yourself.
Like, hey, Joey, we're going to send it out to Joey. Hi, Joey. Hold
This
on.
is Joey AI kicking it out to
I,
Joey Live.
I don't know if you got a chance to see this, and it creeped me out because I was like, I just saw the headline that Joe Rogan had an AI. There was an AI version of his podcast, and it sounded just like him. And I'm like, that is creepy. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll pass.
Yeah. I'm not a big Joe Rogan fan anyway, so
Oh yeah,
the
I
AI
know.
couldn't be any worse than he is.
I know. I was like, I'm not a Rogan fan either, but it's like you're kind of starting to lean into my profession. What's going on here?
Yeah, that is scary. You just type in a topic and let it run for a couple hours.
I know, man. I mean, can you imagine how much rest I'll be getting? I'll probably be getting a lot of rest. It's like, we haven't seen Joey in a while. Yeah, you have. You heard his voice. It's just the AI version of him. So, oh man. But yeah, so we got this coming up. Mandalorian is going on right now. I'm pretty sure you haven't caught up with Mandalorian with the week that you've had.
Um, they haven't had the season ender yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, then I'm behind.
Yeah. So no, I figured. I was like, yeah, I think he's gonna be a little behind. He was a little busy on Thursday and this weekend.
Well, the last one I saw was when the Mandalorians went back to Mandalore and Moff was there, and they had the huge battle. And
Mhm.
now you think that Moff Gideon's been exploded.
Yeah.
That's the
So
last one I
yeah,
saw.
yeah, no, I'm still behind that one. So
Oh,
yeah, no
oh,
spoiler.
yeah.
Hey,
Sorry.
I got a couple of days
Spoiler.
off, so you know what I'm trying to catch up on. So
Yeah, I didn't mean to spoil it, but yeah.
oh no, it's all good, man. Just because I've definitely needed to. It's my fault for slacking, especially on this one, because like a couple of months ago, I was so like, man, everything Pedro Pascal, and I don't know if I just kind of hit a wall, and I'm like, I can't no more. So
Yeah, well, you're going to be happy. I mean, Moff Gideon is front and center in these last couple episodes I've watched, and John Carlo is just an amazing actor. And I never thought I would say there would be a villain, much less another Star Wars villain, that is on par with Darth Vader. But he's pretty close, man.
yeah,
He is very, very close.
I tell you, John Carlo, I hope y'all got a chance to meet him because it's about to get serious with him, man. And especially if they decide to go into the realm of more movies, like, because I mean, there's those talks that, you're going to see more Star Wars movies. I mean, why wouldn't you have John Carlos somehow tied into that universe?
Yeah, pull him into the actual theatrical movies. That would be crazy.
I tell you. So, but yeah, man, it's crazy. There's a lot going on. And the fact that Troy is on the move right now is just, I don't know how you're doing it, man. I'm like waiting for the finish line for myself to go on vacation. You still got a whole nother week.
I'm running on
Oh,
caffeine.
Hey, I did have caffeine somewhere. I just don't know where it went. So, Troy, if they want to keep up with you, if they want to find out all the stuff you got going on, especially over the next couple of days, let them know the socials.
My socials, we're all over interwebs, man. And obviously we can do it from anywhere. So
Yeah.
we are on. I got to find my camera. This is a new phone, so I'm kind of getting used to where the camera's at on it. It's over here. No, it's over. It's over here. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're on
Oh, I thought you were
Twitter.
flipping me off. I was like, wait, what?
Hey, hey. So we're on the Twitter. We're on the YouTube, the Insta, the Meta, and the Tiki Taki.
That's right. Me, you can catch me on Flickster, on what else we got? There's
Napster, Adult
LinkedIn,
Friend
Napster.
Finder.
Whoa. That's after the show, okay? Of course, you can find me, Joey, on the FM on Instagram, Big Show FM. You can find us on Instagram as well. Hot 103's Big Show on the Meta, and then Joey on the FM on Tiki Taki. So we're still rolling with TikTok, I guess, right? TikTok hasn't disappeared.
Yeah, it's not top of the news story anymore. So I think maybe this gave up on it.
I guess so. We'll keep pushing TikTok until they tell us
Well,
different.
they take it.
Hey, by the
Or
way,
Elon
Twitter.
Musk buys it.
Did you buy your check mark on Twitter?
No,
Okay.
I refuse.
You don't want to spare the $8 to have a blue check mark next to your name.
When a multi-billionaire is begging people to give him $8 for a check mark, that's kind of there's something not right there.
That's what we were saying. It's like, okay, really? Like, and I don't even buy this. So when people are like, oh my God, I'm so blessed, I'm verified. I'm like, you paid $8. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
paid
no blessing.
you played a Disney Plus membership to be verified on Twitter.
Yeah, you
Okay.
skipped Starbucks this morning. That's how you got your check mark.
Oh my God. Hey, think about it now. Now I'm really put it in that way. I got verified twice today. So oh my gosh, guys, this has been another edition of Zia Comic Weekly on the road this time. So that's pretty cool. So, like, look, we're stepping it up in 2023. He's live
We
on
got
location.
technology.
Yeah, we really do. We'll check y'all out next week.
Later, nerds.